TES. This is a little bit different again, and it has different ways to win besides the traditional just one of Tendrils of Agony. Has empty the warrens in the deck as well to make a good amount of goblins here. A army knows fewer than 10 or 12 should do the trick.
I think it actually kills with empty more frequently than Tendrils of Agony. I'm no test expert, but I believe that that's the case with this particular deck. And you have one empty main, one side, so you can Burning Wish. Jeremy Stowe's list actually has no Tendrils in the main deck, only a Tendrils of Agony in the sideboard. I don't know if that's industry standard, but it's certainly interesting. As far as other Burning Wish targets, he has one Past in Flames, one Grape Shot, and one Diminishing Returns to go along with the Empty the Warrens and Tendrils we already noted, as well as 2 Cabal Therapies, which I imagine you might wind up Burning Wish for time and again.
Oh yeah, it helps push through your combo. If you've seen their hand a little bit earlier with a Dziedzic Pro, which of course he plays 4 of, you can easily rip it apart. Yeah. If you don't recall, Jeremy Stowe was in our finals yesterday, and playing Mono Red, I believe, right?
Yep,
Mono Red against the Monsters deck. He went to game 3, close game, mulligan to 5. So he narrowly lost there. Could have hoisted the trophy as well. He's looking to bounce back, top 8 again here, winning this round, possibly drawing in the last, and then making good on it.
Yeah, Jeremy wants vengeance. He wants a cup. He's thirsty.
He is thirsty. Took me like 4 years to get a cup. It's a long, long journey. Long journey. And Andrew's going down to 6 here. And Dredge mulliganing. 5. Excuse me. It's 5. Dredge mulligan is 6, not so bad. 5 still. Dredge can mulligan because a lot of their cards are do nothing. You really just want to discard a Dredger and then start going nuts there. Having an extra Dread Return in your hand or 2 Lion's Eye Diamond is not exactly important. So you can have a decent 5-card hand as well and still do pretty well.
We see Ed Leung, who just drew into top 8, coming over to take a gander at his potential competition once the top 8 commences. Dredge can actually mulligan pretty aggressively against a deck like Test because, you really just need to start, you need a fast combo start. You're not that interested in, a hand that's resilient. You don't have to worry about your Dredger dying. You don't have to worry about a lot of disruption. Like, you're both just going at each other as fast as you can, and the faster the better. If he knows what Jeremy's playing, which is possible, considering, they're both X1, they may have played they may have played near each other already in the tournament. He might just know, I need a hand that can actually potentially threaten a kill on like turn 3 and 4 at the absolute latest.
Yeah, because Dredge can have some pretty stymied, slow, sluggish starts if you don't mulligan aggressively. And he's going to go to 4 here.
Yeah, going to 4. Well, he'll be looking for. What do you think? I think something like Putrid Imp, Golgari Thug, LED Faithful Saluting. That's like. I guess we don't need the Putrid Imp. Sorry, LED Faithful Saluting, Golgari Thug or Golgari Troll is what I meant to say.
I think a Lion's Eye Diamond with a Dredger is enough to at least put some game up here.
Yeah.
Especially since you don't really need land to do anything with that. You just drop that down, discard your hand, good to go.
As far as Putrid Imp hands, I think it'd be something like Putrid Imp, Breakthrough, Golgari Grave Troll, X.
Yeah.
City of Brass, I guess.
City of Brass, yeah, land to be able to cast it. I think this mana base is pretty stock here, and I find it interesting that these decks, we see a lot of Dredge decks with 12 land, and then for a little bit we see them with even less land, and a lot of them get a little greedy here. They're pretty much all in on LED, but he's playing the full 12, so he should be able to scrounge at least a land early on.
He's certainly not going to be using the cleanup step to Dredge.
No, definitely not.
Oh wow, this hand's mediocre too. I see at least 1, if not 2 Narcomoebas.
Oh, he is just, And if he has double Narcomoeba, you might go to 3 here.
I probably would, honestly.
Yeah, because, again, your deck, those don't do anything. They're just, the literal do nothing. Sit there and...
They infect worse than nothing. Not only are they blanks in your hand, but because they're not in your deck, it actually significantly limits what you can do with your deck.
Yeah,
by flipping Narcomoebas. So I would mulligan primarily to get them back in the deck.
Yeah, me too.
Reveals, wow, this hand is just, I would have gone to 3 in a heartbeat.
Is probably the worst hand I've ever seen.
I can't disagree with you.
He has both copies of his Flare, the Hatebound, the new Dredge hotness there. Just bringing things back with Dread Return and just killing them that way.
That hand is graphically bad. Jeremy is going to have all the time in the world to go off. And he has no rush. He might as well just wait until he can make 20 goblins or just Burning Wish for Tendrils. There's literally nothing going on Andrew's side. He'd have to just peel non-stop Cabal Therapies to even make this game a little close.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking at Jeremy's hand, it's stacked. I see LED Infernal Tutor, which is already good enough most of the time. He's got a couple silences that doesn't do anything, but he does have the Burning Wish as well. So he can Brainstorm here, he can Burning Wish, he can set his hand up, and then set up for the Lion's Eye Diamond Infernal Tutor, get you here. So the Lion's Eye Diamond Infernal Tutor Empty the Warrens plan is a lot, I guess, more stable than the Tendrils one, because you don't actually need, the full storm count to go off. I mean, even 12, 14 goblins can kill your opponent.
Yeah.
Or Tendrils, you need 10 to go off. So
He's going to start things off with the Brainstorm, and it's very possible he goes for some kind of kill this turn. He hit another Infernal Tutor. He may be throwing that back. I imagine he'll throw back like Silence, or maybe, Silence Infernal Tutor. Seems fine. I would probably throw back both Silence and plan to Chrome Mox imprinting the second Infernal Tutor. I think that's what I would do.
Oh, actually, what he can do also, he can set up a turn where... No, you're right. The problem is he just has no way to shuffle at this point besides casting Infernal Tutor, which he's going to do. So
he's going to cast Infernal Tutor and reveal an LED.
So he wants to keep the Silence. That's interesting. Maybe in case of Andrew one day drawing some kind of, I don't know, maybe a Putrid Imp or something like that, you want to stop him, but I don't see why he would want to keep Silence here. It's not really a big deal. At this point, for Andrew to have a real shot at winning this, he's going to have to peel like a madman anyway.
Yep.
Alright, so LED.
Andrew passes turn once more. I smell a kill turn coming up from Jeremy. Well, I shouldn't say a kill turn, but a combo turn.
Right, a turn with lots of goblins.
He's likely going to be going off in some form or fashion.
I guess another reason maybe to keep the Silences is because the mana costs are so cheap. You can just ditch one or two, but again, it's not...
Tosses Infernal Tutor over there for his opponent to read while he considers his options.
You can also imprint them on Chrome Moxes to produce extra mana if he needs to.
I imagine we'll go for something like LED, Chrome Mox, imprint Silence.
Dark Ritual.
Yeah, cast Dark Ritual, and then cast Infernal Tutor. We don't actually even need to pop the diamonds.
No, yeah,
but we will, because we're probably going to get Ad Nauseam, I imagine.
Yeah. If
he could pop one and then leave the other if he wants to be able to Ad Nauseam and then get rid of all those cards in order to Infernal Tutor again.
Yeah. I think if Jeremy knows Dredge pretty well, I think there's no way for Andrew to interact with a ton of goblins here, but he might just want to go for the kill itself. So
I think he has what it takes to go for the kill. His hand obviously has a high number of spells itself, and we'll see exactly which form he takes. He does indeed cast both LEDs. I'm kind of curious to see if he cracks one or both, for my own sake, because I'm no master of tests by any stretch, and I've seen players get into weird spots with Ad Nauseam if that's where he goes. So he does crack both, and now we find out if he's going to go for Ad Nauseam or Past in Flames or Burning Wish, all possible targets.
Yeah, Ad Nauseam is definitely an attractive option because you have tons of mana. I mean, you can just you have tons of life. You can do a lot of things, so you definitely can do a lot more with it. And this deck is definitely a little more interesting than the other one. The other one's pretty, mono decision here. We're going to get Tendrils and kill you.
Well, our storm count is at 6. We have a black floating plus whatever we cracked our LEDs for.
Because you chain Infernal Tutors
So 7
here.
mana of some variation color, probably black and red.
Yeah, so he's going to Infernal Tutor, probably go get the last Infernal Tutor, cast that Infernal Tutor. Yep. He'll probably have at least 20 goblins.
So we're floating now 6 mana. And I believe that puts our storm to 7.
Yep. Here we go for the last one in his deck.
Storm 8, floating 5 mana.
Oh, yeah, there's one more after this, actually. He put one back, I'm pretty sure.
No, he played it last turn to get another Dark Ritual.
Alright, so Burning Wish here, which is almost like a Infernal Tutor.
Down to 3 mana, Storm 9, and go grab Tendrils. That's 10, that's 20, that's game.
Yep. Alright. So Jeremy, again, not facing any kind of pressure from Andrew, and like Len said, 3 cards would probably be the right amount. It's just tough to win with a hand with Narcomoeba, Flare, Hatebound, City of Brass. That's almost a mulligan to 0, you know? He shakes his hand even for game 1. That felt like, not really a match or game for Andrew, so he's going to be looking to bounce back. In the sideboard, it looks like the Dredge player Andrew has Leyline of Sanctity, kind of stops Tendrils, but then again, he can just win with Empty the Warrens.
Yep.
But then again, maybe Andrew doesn't know. I mean, TES doesn't really have a popularity, have a kind of a following like Ant does. So I don't know if he knows the list as well as other people would. He has Iona, Shield of Emeria. That's a nice little reanimate target against his deck, I guess. And I mean, black, he really can't do much, right? He can't Infernal Tutor or Ad Nauseam or any of that. But then again, Alice and Orange good against
he can
goblins.
empty through.
You can have your
Iona's tough because this deck has black and red rituals. So while Iona is definitely a good card to have in play, it limits the lines your opponent can take by a lot. They can actually win through it if you just call the wrong color, or they happen to get lucky. And they also have access to Petal LED, so you can get got.
I wonder if there's any sideboard plan he can do though, because everything in his board either goes one way or the other.
His board is almost all hate cards for cards that are good against him, or like trump cards in specific matchups. Like he's got these Nature's Claims to kill ley lines and rest in pieces. He's got Wismares for the same reason. He's got Ingot Chewers for relics and spell bombs and whatnot. And then he has Iona for combo matchups, Elishnorn for creature matchups, an additional Dread return, which I think he'll probably bring that in since this is a combo mirror. He needs just more combo pieces.
Yeah. I agree with that.
The Leyline of Sanctity, I might even be tempted to not include, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, because he's not playing. We know for a fact, seeing Silence, he probably doesn't have a lot of hand disruption. He has 2 duress and off therapy. And let's look at his sideboard, see how much more hand disruption he has. I see 2 more therapy joining the crew here. So it might, I don't know, maybe 1. See, it's tough. It's tough to board with Dredge in these combo decks, because what do you board out? Do you board out, Dredgers? Do you board out some of your Icarids, maybe, because you're not really attacking them so much? It's tough to board with this deck. On the other side, you have a Burning Wish sideboard. You pretty much only have Xanthous Swarm that you're boarding in and Cabal Therapy. There's not actually any board for this deck either. Most Burning Wish decks don't have too much sideboard involved anyway, because we're obviously going singleton town here, trying to just have the bullets we need to win. So we'll see if Andrew can have a more explosive draw, at least have a draw, not even an explosive draw. We want to see, we don't get Dredge on camera all the time, because of my guess would be how complicated the board can get and the graveyard can get and how long it can drag out. But
it's also just become a significantly less popular strategy in Legacy recently. I think a lot of the hate has kind of caught up to it. Death Ray Shaman and Scavenging Ooze are getting more and more widely played. People have learned to incorporate cards like Nihil Spellbomb. Rest in Peace becoming a format staple was a huge sledgehammer. It's kind of a tough deck to get through all the hate with now. But
and it sometimes just beats itself, as you see there. I mean, you're playing a deck that this has 12 land. That's actually pretty good for Dredge. And you're playing a deck with a few mana sources and then a lot of dead cards. Like we were joking earlier, cards that aren't even magic cards, like Bridge from Below and Breakthrough, and these things don't actually do anything if you don't have the Dredger with it. Well, Bridge from Below doesn't do anything, period. It's in the graveyard. So, all right, so we're shuffling up here. Let's see a Dredge do its Dredge thing. We don't get to see that too often, so see what it can do. Let's see if we get a turn 1 kill. See if that's in the cards. I haven't seen a Dredge turn 1 kill in a very long time. This one I don't think can do. It's not playing the
I'm trying to think.
Flamekin Zealot kill
it'd
you.
be very specific. It would have to. I mean, obviously, player theoretically you can do something there, but I think it's definitely built to grind a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, even if it wasn't turn 1, a lot of the old ones that played Iona in the main deck would be able to bring that out.
A functional turn 1 kill.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you now can no longer win.
Yeah. Iona is a tough pill to swallow there for a lot of decks. All right, so they're thinking about it, mulling over their options. I see Jeremy's got a decent hand over there. I see Land and Lotus Petal and looks like Infernal. No, those are Duresses. Yep. So double. I don't really like Duress against the Dredge deck on the draw.
Honestly, I don't think he had much to sideboard out.
Yeah.
I should say sideboard in. Like his sideboard is not, here for Dredge really. So he might have brought in like 2 cards or something like that.
He drew both of them maybe.
There's just not really anything you can take out in a Duress. Maybe it catches a breakthrough or something.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jeremy's going to mulligan this hand. It doesn't have anything to keep. It has no cantrips, has no combo enablers. He's just living off the top of his deck to draw something that does anything.
When I thought it was a good hand, I saw a land, a Lotus Petal, and I saw the Rite of Flame. So I was like, all right,
you got some rituals, and if those are Infernal Tutors, this hand's probably fine, but they're not.
No. Yeah, this is a definite ship here. Especially because Duress, like we just mentioned, is just awful against this deck. You gotta get so lucky to hit something against Dredge. Look at his spells. They play Lion's Eye Diamond right off the bat. Turn 1, he's going to play his Lion's Eye Diamond, stack it, play Careful Study, or flashback a Faithless Looting or something like that the first turn. You're not going to have a chance to snag it.
The biggest plus for this hand is that it has cards that Andrew is not going to name with Cabal Therapy. Yeah. So a turn 1 Cabal Therapy naming like Infernal Tutor or something along those lines is just going to miss. Yeah. So Jeremy has that going for him, and he's probably kind of concerned. I mulled a 6, my hand has an Infernal Tutor, maybe even 2. Now I'm in trouble. LED is also another popular name with Cabal Therapy, and he's going to dodge that. But Andrew's just going for gusto
His
here.
hand is actually pretty good. I
his
don't think he
hand
has a
seems
dredger
quite
though.
good.
Oh, he does. He has
Yes,
Golgari
Golgari Grave Troll.
He's good.
He's breakthroughing with
This
Golgari
hand is
Grave Troll
a
through
great
the
hand,
LED.
actually.
I assume he's making red mana with his LED in the event that he flips into a Faithless Looting.
Right.
And now he's off to the races, dredging 6. 1.
Oh, there it is.
So there's
two.
two
of
Faithless
them.
Lootings.
If it's another dredger,
We see
is
he brought
good
in
to
the
go.
Leyline to Sanctity. He's hit an Archamoeba.
He did not hit a dredger though yet. All right, so
No,
he's
looks
gonna,
like he fizzled here. He's going to have to draw some cards and pitch his hand, right? I don't think he has any more dredge.
He does have red, luckily, with the Faithless Looting, so he's going to be able to re-dredge that Golgari Grave Troll.
Yep.
Yeah, if he flipped the second dredger, it'd be a lot better too. So
He did also bin the Cabal Therapy that was in his opening hand, so he
Ooh, that's a
may
good
be
card to draw.
flashbacking Cabal Therapy.
he drew a Bridge from Below, which
Bridge
is
from
gonna be
below is
discarded.
reasonable, yeah.
So this is the turn one that Dredge is known for a little bit better. So he's going to flashback his Faithless Looting here.
Yep. And he's going to try and hit a Dredger in 6 cards again.
Yep.
Well, I guess technically he had 9 to hit that one last time and didn't get there, really. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there we go. On card 5, we hit Stinkweed Imp.
There we go.
And that's going to dredge 5 more. And he hit another Cabal Therapy in there, so he can Cabal Therapy twice this turn. That's pretty good.
All right, so let's see what happens here.
Hits another Bridge.
Oh, and this one get 2 more zombies here.
Icarid.
Yeah, this is good. Oh,
And another Narcomoeba. Wow.
All right, so he's got a good start now. He can sack both of these Narcomoebas to get 8 power in zombies
Onto the board and Cabal Therapy Jeremy twice, guaranteeing he hits at least 1 card. And then he has an Icarid in the graveyard that can come back on the next turn. So he can attack for 11 next turn and then lethal on turn 3.
Yeah, this is a tough, especially with double therapy.
Yeah.
It's not actually, even if Andrew or Jeremy had a great hand, I don't think it would have mattered this game because he gets to therapy him, see what he's, and hit something good because he would need something like Infernal Tutor, like you say. And if he doesn't have that, his hand's not so good anyway. And then you get to do the second therapy and then hit the other dangerous card. And then no matter what, you have the 2-turn clock and it should be done. So.
Yeah, this is a turn 3 kill from Dredge with 2 Cabal Therapies backing it up. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not shabby. So he's going to flash it back. Bridge from Below triggers, gets a couple guys.
We'll get word on what was named shortly.
I bet you it's not one of those cards.
Probably not. It was probably Lion's Eye Diamond or Infernal.
Wish.
Oh, he named Burning Wish. Interesting. Another threatening combo enabler.
Yeah.
I think I would name Lion's Eye Diamond because that contributes to the most explosive draws on Tess's part, and that's the kind of draw that's going to beat my turn 3 kill. You know, I'm going to kill you on turn 3 with these 2 Cabal Therapies. I'm pretty sure the only way you can kill me on turn 2 or 1 is going to involve a Lion's Eye Diamond, so I'm just going to name it.
Yeah, I would name Lion's Eye Diamond, and for the same reasons, because that's where you get all the mana from. Like, you're not going to get it from your lands and your rituals on turn 1. You're going to get it from the free artifact that lets you use Infernal Tutor right after that. Another important thing to know is that he named Burning Wish. Maybe he's afraid of Jeremy Burning Wishing for either something to sweep the board, maybe, or something to deal with the graveyard. But then again, this deck, the TES deck, the Storm deck, is a lot different than the Ant deck because one is playing Burning Wish, so it has a completely different sideboard. So if Andrew's unfamiliar with the deck, then you know there could be just cause for naming a different card. But yeah, I'm with you. I would name the most powerful, formerly banned artifact in Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah, the issue with naming something like Infernal Tutor or Burning Wish is that the cards can actually function very similarly. You know, if you name Burning Wish, you might have Infernal Tutor, and that's why he kept. If you name Infernal Tutor, you might have Burning Wish, and that's why he kept.
Yeah.
Whereas LED, there's nothing like LED. It's the only Black Lotus in your deck.
Yeah, that's true. It is a Black Lotus for these decks. Even better, actually. Somehow it's better.
Yeah, I heard it had a drawback, but that's not what it looks like from here.
No. It looks like smooth sailing here. So he's going to take out the Silence, which is interesting. I bet he wishes that was an Orange chant right now. You know what I'm saying? Not really.
Probably not. No, yeah, he's probably still okay.
That just makes me ill to see a card like with Orange Silent.
Peculiar to see him
cool
nab the Silence. I think I nab Petal, probably?
He's actually taking all, you take Petal and Rite of Flame, definitely. Just take both mana things, so he's down to no mana. And actually, by doing that, he lowered his clock by sacking a zombie for the other therapy. I don't think you do that, too, because those cards aren't threatening at all.
Right, he's actually only attacking for 9 now next turn, so now he's down to threatening a turn 4 kill.
Oh, he has the Icarid. I forgot about the Icarid.
Yeah, but the Icarid is still only a turn 4 kill.
Yeah.
If he has if he has 2 Icarids, which I don't think he did though.
No, he has one Icarid.
Yeah.
And he can save the Icarid to flashback that using that last therapy to get 4 more zombies.
Yeah. I think that we got a little
We got a little antsy.
Over antsy here. I mean, it might work out fine anyway.
I mean,
obviously, Jeremy's drawing relatively light. but he did get an extra turn off of Andrew's play here.
Yep. All right, removing Putrid Imp, getting Icarid back. Icarid was a menace in Legacy, or excuse me, in Extended,
yeah.
and when it was just in the
Grand Prix
weaker,
Charlotte.
Yeah, it was just such a great card, even in the weaker versions of the Dredge deck. And now in Legacy, it's not seeing less play. It's definitely still 3 of or 4 of in these decks.
We need one more person
Let's see what
for the
happens here.
final draft.
Didn't look like he milled anything too interesting there. Hits another bridge. All right. I don't think he has any more therapies, though, to turn that Icarid into triple zombie, which, if he could turn Icarid into triple zombie, that would actually reassert his clock into the correct speed, and he'd be back on turn 3.
But he's just going to get in there for 9 damage.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, he's just going to be sacrificing the Icarid to its own effect anyway, so he's actually fine hitting there.
Oh, Icarid, yeah.
Assuming he remembers the trigger for zombies, which, should be pretty easy to do.
Yeah. Icarid's a confusing one. Most of these type creatures either exile themselves, or this is one of the few that actually sacrifices in a turn. So.
Yep. Note that Jeremy is not really getting punished for declining to mulligan here, as a mulliganed hand would have been even more vulnerable to Andrew's draw.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, there's not many draws from the test on the draw that can combat a hand like Andrew had, and he knows it and he's conceding. So,
That's
Andrew, you gonna shake hands in between games here? Every game, we're
Andrew's a handshaker. They're all good games, man.
Yeah.
They're all good games.
Yeah, combo versus combo. Here's my nuclear bomb. Here's my nuclear bomb. All right, let's go to game 3. Just blowing each other up. Not much interaction though, sadly, for these decks, because one.
Sadly, this is awesome.
Oh, you like it? Just
Oh yeah, just watching some
fireworks
guy
back and
Hadouken the other guy.
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
good.
Yeah, it's all like finish him, Mortal Kombat. They
Exactly.
start off wobbly at the beginning of the fight already.
Dude,
so.
I didn't come here for fair fights. This is Legacy. I just want to see someone get thrashed.
No body blows here. This is all just straight to the jaw.
Yeah, KOs. We're not going to the judges. Don't give me the points. Come on.
Nope, he is. He's drooling on the ground right now. So he gets back up. He's getting ready to look at the sideboard again. He's like, oh, wait, they're all burning wish targets. So he's going to put his sideboard back. Then Andrew looks at his sideboard and says, oh, these are all things that stop Rest in Peace and Grafdigger's Cages. So no, these cards are good.
Yeah. Interestingly, he saw that Jeremy kept in those 2 duresses, so he's actually probably liking his Leyline of Sanctity plan a little more than he may have before. And like I said, I'm not actually a big fan of bringing the ley lines. It's a hurdle, it makes them not be able to tendrils you really. But the test deck is already built to kill you without tendrils-ing you. So.
Yeah. If this was Ant, you definitely bring in the ley lines, and you're feeling real good about them cards too.
Yeah, I'm much happier with them in that matchup.
Especially when they only have Chain of Vapor. It's not like they have Echoing Truth or something. You get a couple ley lines down. It's real tough for them to win from that. So. And looking at his board, I mean, he can look all he wants, but these are all these targets. I mean, the Chain of Vapor, that's not going to do anything. Boarding in, let's say, you're boarding the Tropical Island for that duress, maybe. You just get another land in there. And that duress, like I said, is just... On the play, it's a little bit better, at least.
Sure.
They've gained a little bit of traction. On the draw, I think it's almost unplayable because, like you saw there, Andrew, if he has lines of diamonds, he's going to play it. If he has a breakthrough, he's going to play it. If he has any spell he has, he can play on turn 1. So.
Sure. No, I like your idea there, sideboarding differently on the play in the draw in this match, but I think it's accurate. Interesting point of trivia, Jeremy's standard deck also played a land in the sideboard. He wants access to another land going up in sideboard games, which is kind of interesting to me. Generally in sideboard games, things go actually a little longer. Because once you both have access to some hate cards or some specific cards tailored to the matchup, you're more likely to be able to stabilize against what your opponent's doing. So the games 2 and 3 tend to actually take a little longer than game 1s on average.
I'm with you on that too, and it's kind of odd because like against the aggro decks, you bring out all these cards that are expensive, and your deck is cheaper by theory, so you wouldn't bring the land in. Against control decks, you have more time to play your expensive spell, so you don't need the land hypothetically. So I mean,
the more draw steps you get in a game, the less likely it is you'll get mana screwed. So that makes it even less likely you'll need the land. I'm actually thinking that he has the land in his deck specifically for tempo matchups, like against Rug Delver or something like that. So he can fetch for it. It's an extra land in his deck to help him fend off wastelands and whatnot.
Green does something. I'm just not sure. Oh, to play Xanthid Swarm. Xanthid Swarm. So.
He has a number of sources between the Gemstone Mines and City of Brass and Lotus Petals.
Yeah.
So I imagine he's bringing it in because of those control matchups as well. But I also like its applications in the tempo matchups, because having an extra land in your ritual deck against tempo seems fine too.
And against Wasteland Stifle decks too, it's not too bad to have against. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so it looks like he's just doing a couple formulas here. Andrew's hitting the books for a little bit, jotting down some notes, and thinking.
Yep, interesting to note that, when you're sideboarding, you might want to write things down, but it's kind of note taking is it's a finicky thing.
It is. It takes a lot of time away from the match if you're not adept at it, and I've just never been a fan. I've never needed the notes,
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. And actually, for a while, notes were illegal. You couldn't bring any kind of information into the match.
A common mistake I've seen people make is actually jotting things down on like their sideboarding notes while they're between games, because they can't then access that during the game. What you want to do is wait until after you're sideboarding while you're presenting. Now you can write some stuff down, and you can actually use that information during the game itself when it's not attached to something that comes from the outside.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's particularly relevant in our top 8s where players have access to one another's deck lists. You can make some notes on what you remember from the deck list once you're exchanging decks and doing mulligans and whatnot, but you can't write down any of the information while you have access to the deck list.
Important to note, because in these bigger tournaments, these opens, these high-level things, you're going to have to play by the rules. Don't make any mistakes like that.
Jeremy keeps, and Andrew is going into the mulligans once more. I saw Jeremy's hand a little bit. I know it has Infernal Tutor, a Brainstorm, a Ponder, and some lands. That already makes it quite good in this matchup.
Right.
Brainstorm lets him hide from Cabal Therapy, and it's also one of his more powerful cantrips. So,
yeah, this is how the format likes to play out. You have the blue decks that brainstorm and hide their cards from the black decks, trying to take away those cards, and they're all very cheap and very effective. And Dredge is kind of like that odd, it's kind of like the odd child of the format there. It's doesn't really play fair, but sometimes it doesn't really play that unfair either. I mean, that last game, he put a bunch of 2/2s in play, but you know what? I mean, there's decks that put 21 ones in play on turn 1 and 2 with Charbelcher or Belch You Out, so there are more unfair decks than Dredge, but Dredge has the consistency because it doesn't really need to draw anything. It just needs to pitch their hand with a Dredger, and it can bounce back from anything. So Andrew here, mulligan to 6. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what we got. It looks like he's going to keep. I see lands, I see spells, so let's see if it's a good one.
starting with the City of Brass because he wants to conserve that Misty Rainforest for his Brainstorm or Ponder. And he's going to lead with the Brainstorm. I guess he's theorizing, it's not likely for the Dredge deck to dart Cabal Therapy on me on turn 1. And to be honest, he's right. The Dredge deck is much more likely to go for, a Breakthrough or a Putrid Imp. Something, or a Faithless Looting. And that's assuming he doesn't have a Lion's Eye Diamond induced combo start, So he's going to go for the Brainstorm.
Yeah, let's do it. You'll see he's got a bunch of cantrips, double LED, Infernal Tutor. He's got a lot of good stuff there.
This hand is serious business. Assuming he gets to untap unmolested by anything Andrew does, he'll be in great shape to theoretically win the game.
But you're right, though. I mean, even though he's not really threatened by therapy...
It's interesting he plays the second LED. I think I would have played one LED and held the other one because what are the odds he's going to therapy me for LED with one play, right?
About zero.
Pretty low. I'd feel comfortable. I like playing it safe there and making sure you don't get Cabal Therapy for double LED because that would be a nightmare. But
yeah. He didn't really accomplish much by holding the Brainstorm there or doing a main phase. But, it's not like he got hurt that bad from me. He just lost a little bit of Storm. All right, so Faithless Looting comes in. I'm assuming he will pitch a Dredge card. I think that's a Cabal. There's an Icarid on the right.
I see two Icarids, Breakthrough, an Archimeeba, a Bridge from Below, a land, and another Faithless Looting. I don't see a Dredge card.
Ugh.
Yep. Bins an Icarid and a Bridge from Below.
We are still drawing cards after turn 1.
Yep. That's bad news for Andrew, as Jeremy's hand is pretty close to killing him on the spot.
Yeah.
He has that Misty Rainforest. He can go...
a ton of mana he has.
Yeah. He can crack the Misty to shuffle up the deck, then again, Jataxian Probe paying some life in order to get a fresh card, maybe a Dark Ritual, something to help him along a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he can go, just Infernal Tutor, crack some LEDs, and kill you pretty much at my leisure. He'll have a little lower storm count this turn because he used those two LEDs on the previous turn.
Yeah.
But he certainly has access to a lot of mana and an Infernal Tutor Hellbent, which is pretty much exactly where Tess wants to be at all times.
Yeah, I think I'd want to go for it too because watching the Dredge player pitch 0 Dredgers, I just want to kill him right now. Because he's drawing when he untaps. He's going to have to break through at best and then be able to discard a Dredger finally. But even after all that, he still has to wait a whole another turn before he can even think about getting zombies. So he's trying to put the pressure on now.
Based on this Jataxian Probe, it's possible Jeremy waits. He can see how weak Andrew's hand actually is.
He does have the breakthrough though, so probably in one more turn he will have a Dredger because he gets to draw so many cards.
So
I think we
definitely next turn, if not this turn.
Yeah. Can't wait too long.
Andrew, if he draws, I'm trying to think like a Lion's Eye Diamond, I guess he can get somewhere because if he draws Lion's Eye Diamond, he can play it, Breakthrough, hopefully hits a Dredger in the 4 cards, then he can Lion's Eye Diamond, sacking for Faithless Looting from the graveyard. With that Dredger, maybe dredges way into a therapy. That's the real danger to Jeremy's hand right now.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's actually the only real danger. He should feel pretty safe against most everything else.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see if what he draws off this probe and off. He has a bunch of cantrips in his hand. Oh, another Infernal Tutor.
Another Infernal Tutor.
So he can go ahead and ponder here. So, I mean, this is the turn where we use our blue spells here. And we see what we can set up.
He's still not committed to doing anything. He hasn't decided to go off or not yet. The Chrome Mox lets him imprint that extra Infernal Tutor, gain a mana, but he's going to go ahead and shuffle it away. I like that. I'd much rather have a Dark Ritual than a Chrome Mox, so go for it.
Definitely at least one of my rituals here.
And keep in mind, as we discussed, our opponent is basically 4-outering to threaten us. Only Lion's Eye Diamond off the top is an actual significantly threatening card.
Yeah, it's very few outs for Andrew in one turn's time. So let's see what Jeremy can do here. All right, so he draws Gemstone Cavern. That's a blank.
Yep, we're going to ponder, and it looks like we're going to ship the turn and plan for a turn 3 kill.
Yeah.
I like that play.
Yep.
The odds of Andrew hitting the Lion's Eye Diamond are obviously pretty small. He gets one draw step to do it in a way that, that
we're
matters.
going to shuffle that garbage. That is awful. Duress land.
Jeremy shuffles up.
So yeah, we want to see a ritual here. Want to see, anything that produces a decent, some more mana. So you have the double Infernal Tutor, so you're able to go off through that.
I guess we are kind of open to Cabal Therapy from Andrew would be pretty bad. If he peeled Cabal Therapy, played it, and correctly spiked us on Infernal Tutor, we'd be pretty wounded.
Yeah, that would be very bad.
The odds of that seem pretty slim, though, especially considering we saw Andrew darker Cabal Therapy in the last game, and he went with Burning Wish first. So that's got to be in Jeremy's mind. If this guy does draw Cabal Therapy, he's probably naming Burning Wish instead of Infernal Tutor, because that's what he did the last time. He had the exact same option.
Yeah, Infernal Tutor is definitely the right call at this point, because 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds out, there's one real bad card for you. So he draws another land, another blank here. But we'll see what Andrew draws here.
Yeah, those are some Ice Cold Ponders. He checks his graveyard. Oh yeah, there's nothing there. Can't Icarid, can't Dredge.
Nope.
Draw.
Yeah, draw. Narcomoeba. Ugh.
Among the worst possible draws in his deck.
Yeah.
Plays a Coliseum, and yeah, he just has to break through and ship the turn pretty much.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want to pay 1 to keep a card because all of these cards are bad.
Yeah. Yeah, they are all bad. They're
better in the graveyard than in the hand.
Yeah, 100%.
That's actually just true.
You don't think he wants to hold maybe a Narcomoeba, hang out with it?
Narcomoeba is just my little friend, right?
Yeah. All right, so he's going to draw.
Those 4 cards are a little off camera.
There's
I see a
Dredger,
Dredger,
so...
Grave Troll, and Stinkweed Imp. So next turn we can start dredging, assuming we get a next turn.
Yes.
Judge confirms the resolution of breakthrough correctly, and there we go.
Okay. So Jeremy, relief, untaps, silence, another stinker.
Yeah, Jeremy's like, I'm going nowhere fast here. It looks like he's probably just going to have to take an Ad Nauseam.
Yeah.
On 15, floating, 7?
Yeah, Ad Nauseam.
Man, life's hard.
Yeah.
Ad Nauseam on 15, life floating 7. What kind of a life are we forced to live?
I wonder if he can actually win off that.
Floating 2,
Yeah.
because the Ad Nauseam itself costs 5.
I wonder if he. I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be in good shape too.
I've seen better, but I've seen worse. We'll see what happens here. We saw an opponent actually rip an Ad Nauseam and then rip the Past in Flames with exactly enough life to kill his opponent through a Brainstorm. And this happened earlier today, so it was very, very good. See, he brainstormed, and if he drew any land, he would lose because he would not be able to be hellbent. So let's see if Jeremy doesn't dig himself in a hole here. All right, so and this Ad Nauseam here is going to be with all the life source you could ever want. It's going to be great.
Yep, finds it immediately. I assume he correct his LEDs for black and red, and with a City of Brass still sticking around, he can also gain access to blue mana if he needs it. But that'll mean he can't go down as low as 1 life with his Ad Nauseam.
Right. All right, let's see what happens here. Always exciting when you get to
Gotta
play.
love a sweat, yeah. Ad Nauseam's just the best card.
It is a sweat here. All right, ready? Enjoy yourself. It's not like Hypergenesis when it's happening. You know exactly what's going to happen. A bunch of stuff's going to come out. This is a very random card.
We'll probably try and figure out exactly which color mana he floated with his LEDs. I assume it's a black mana. That's my guess.
Yeah. Yep. This deck has a bunch of red rituals in it, so he might be red, but he also has all the
Dark Ritual is more the most powerful of his rituals, and he'll be more likely to cast a Infernal Tutor.
Well, he had to pay 5 for the Ad Nauseam, so he doesn't have that much mana.
3 black and 3 red, converted to cast Ad Nauseam right now, floating probably a black as we noted. Then again, he could be a red because, Chrome Mox can exile a black card, which he has slightly more of in order to gain access to black mana. like those duresses and cabal therapy can become a black. Keeps a black. Okay, we've got that confirmed.
Oh, silence.
Takes one for silence. Land.
Takes one for probe, so 2. Takes 4, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
So he's at 6 life. He's at 5 life. 0 there. 4 life. Look at all that. See, I just hate these duresses every time I see them.
And 4 is the moment where every ad nauseum player ever will stop and start doing some counting. Because 4 is the point where their deck can actually kill them.
Yes, yes.
They don't have to care until they get down to 4.
This is game 3. This is the win and in pretty much for top 8. I mean, not saying it's guaranteed, but he has a pretty good shot at drawing next round. You got to really play it carefully here. You can't just go willy-nilly. Let's see what he does.
I think he has to keep going, right? He has no way to get rid of his hand, and I don't think he has exactly enough mana to go for a Tendril Skull, though it could be off. He's got, let's see, he has 1 floating, so he's got
how
2,
can
3,
how can he even Tendrils?
4,
The Burning
5,
Wish
6.
is not enough. Yeah, you're right. I don't think that's enough.
Oh, no, actually, I think he has 6 mana exactly. I think
Does
he
he
can do it. Yeah.
So he has 1 from the Ritual, so he gets 3 from the Ritual. He has 2 from the Rite of Flame that casts the Burning Wish. And then he has Lotus Petal, yes.
Yeah, he has exactly 6.
Does he have Storm Count of 9, though?
That's a real question.
Because he played all that junk the turn before, so...
He has only done 1 for the Infernal Tutors, so he'd have to be going...
Ritual's 2, Lotus Petal's 3, Burning Wish is 4,
he can play the probe.
is 5.
Yeah.
That's not enough, that's only 6.
No, it looks like he's some mana shy. He has to keep going, I think. Unless he's going to go for Empty the Warrens and try and just get him that way, but that's pretty bold.
That's loose, especially when you have a Bridge from Below and a Dredger now, so...
Oh, you see him, he's pulling out the cards he can play this turn. He wants to confirm it before he keeps going. And, he can't fault anyone for confirming anything in this spot. So he's pulling out the cards he intends to play as part of trying to go off.
Right.
Actually, we're off as well. We're missing an interaction. He can Infernal Tutor, revealing Dark Ritual, and just get the mana immediately back. That's a free roll.
Yes.
So he can actually add 2 to his Storm Count just with that.
Okay.
Assuming he doesn't have to cast the Dark Ritual to get to that point. So I think he might be in that scenario right now.
Okay, so let's see if he can do that this way. So he Rituals with the 1 black, gives him 3 mana. He Rituals the red one, gives him 3 black and 2 red floating.
The problem is he needs a second Dark Ritual in order to run the Infernal Tutor for Dark Ritual.
Right. So I mean...
I think he has to keep going.
I think you need to go, too. I mean, it just doesn't seem like enough.
A Lotus Petal will... Well,
Yep,
Lotus
he's
Petal
gonna
get in there?
Here we go.
I think a Lotus Petal gets in there, an LED gets in there.
2.
Wow, that's tough. That's a tough card to hit.
Yeah, because now you can't even probe. It pretty much took away a Storm Count.
Yep.
Magic players, at the end of this round, you are 6-2 or better.
If he hits an LED or a petal on the next card, he's golden. But if he doesn't,
he is good. This is wow.
You're 6-2 or better at the end of this round.
Wow. I'm trying to think if there's any way he can stop and win. I think at this point you have to go for the Empty the Warrens. I don't think you can go at 2. I think you need to go Empty the Warrens.
2's pretty baller.
No, I think
you have admittedly gone through 2 Infernal Tutors or 3 Infernal Tutors, and you have 2 Burning Wish up there. So there aren't a whole lot of cards that kill you left in your deck, but there are cards.
Oh, actually, he can't flip anything because then if he does anything and still needs that City of Brass, he can't even use it.
He'll be giving up the City of Brass, but he does have that petal.
Yeah, he already gave up a Storm Count. I think you just get 10 goblins here.
I think that he may have to settle for 10 goblins, but I wouldn't fault him for keeping going. I've seen crazier plays.
Yeah, that's just too risky for my blood. I guess why I don't play decks like this. It gives me high blood pressure. I'm good. I'm good on him now. So.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and stop it. Looks like now.
All right, so the Infernal Tutor spell 1. Ad Nauseam spell 2. Dark Ritual will be spell 3. Lotus will be spell 4. Rite of Flame will be spell 5. Burning Wish will be spell 6.
Keep in mind he can
empty for 14. Good enough.
He can also Brainstorm to try and hit an LED.
That's true. He has exactly enough mana to get 14 goblins. So I think we just go the 14 goblin route.
Brainstorm can also just pay for itself if he hits a petal. Or any other ritual.
You're a risky man. You want to roll them. You just want to see it. That's
I'm just laying out what we can do. I think considering the high percentage chance of Brainstorm has to be a free roll if it hits like a petal, Dark Ritual, Rite of Flame, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the chance it has to straight up win the game if it hits a Lion's Eye Diamond. I might be interested in getting frisky.
Yeah, that's frisky. That's risky.
Hitting a Dark Ritual would be a very sizable game.
Yeah, who knows what the right play is here, because getting 14 goblins could lose him the game, where if he does that play, he could win the game immediately. So
Dredge can beat 14 goblins. That's got to be the scary part, right? Like, he can just make, like 6 zombies on his turn. That's not even an unrealistic thing that could happen.
I think Jeremy's just going to have to give it a shot here with the Goblins. But then again, I will not fault him for going for the win. And it looks like
Goes
he's
to
going
one.
to go for the Goblin route, I think.
Starts with the Rite of Flame.
Yeah, Rite of Flame.
So that locks him out of using that Brainstorm for sure.
Yeah.
Because he needs red and black mana. I'm sorry, he does still have black mana after the Ad Nauseam.
All right, so this gives him 6 mana, exactly enough to Burning Wish.
He's cast his Dark Ritual, he's cast his Rite of Flame, he's on 5 mana.
Now he's on 6 with the Lotus Petal.
Yep, 6 with the Lotus Petal.
Then up to Burning Wish, and then cast the Empty if he chooses that route. If not, we are going to go real deep with this Brainstorm here.
Well, he doesn't have a source of blue mana anymore.
Well, the Lotus Petal could have been blue.
Sure,
he
he
would've
hasn't
waited,
declared
yeah.
it. I mean,
So-
I honestly probably would have just started with, like, Petal, Brainstorm.
Oh, he's not doing it now. He's going to go empty the
3
ones.
black, 3 red, he is empty the Warrens, it appears.
Yep, so this is it.
14 Goblins, as you predicted, is Jeremy's route. And yeah, it's a strong one, I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely...
Andrew perhaps kicking himself for not keeping that Narcomoeba, but he could just play it
Yeah.
this turn.
Yeah.
Pass, and if his opponent doesn't find a way to kill him, he just attacks him to death with Narcomoeba. If he had breakthrough for 1 and kept a Narcomoeba,
That'd been
he
really-
actually could have threatened lethal this turn.
That'd been really funny. And even though Jeremy doesn't have any options here, he's just staring at the Empty the Warrens. It's just kind of like, is this the right thing? Did I do it right? Is this the right play? Only time will tell, my friend. Only time will tell. So we will see. All right, so he's just looking through his sideboard, looking through actually the graveyard of Andrew, and it just doesn't, I don't know. At this point, who knows?
He's checking the Coliseum. He wants to see what the craziest, zaniest things Andrew can do are.
Nothing too crazy.
I mean, they're pretty crazy. Coliseum is not a real card, man. That's some nonsense.
It draws 3 cards. Things that draw 3 cards.
You
are
think
not
it
too bad.
draws 3 cards? You're adorable.
Isn't that what it does?
Is he considering a Tendrils for 14?
Oh no, don't do that. All these cards are getting exiled. No, don't do that. Not this way. Not this way.
I'm not sure. Maybe he thinks he can.
Oh, he's doing it.
I think
Is
he
this
think-
for more than 14? Did I miscount?
I
Is
think
this
we're right
16?
on 14. It could be 16, but yeah, okay, we have a confirmation for 14.
I understand the
maybe he
man-
thinks that his hand can actually just finish it off on the next turn.
Does he have a hand?
He has his Ad Nauseam.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Those
he
cards
does-
are all in his
yeah,
hand.
you're
Yeah,
right,
that's the hand he has.
Sorry, for some reason, whenever I see these Storm decks go off, I'm assuming they're all in on their cards.
He
No,
probably
has
feels
a hand.
pretty safe about not dying next turn, as the Dredge deck usually has to take a turn to set up and then try to kill the opponent.
Yeah, but with the Empty the Warren, he can still win with the Tendrils the next time with his hand. The same logic that playing, and then if Andrew doesn't answer the 14 Goblins, he's just dead.
The difference is he gains a City of Brass this way. Since he's on 15 life, he can actually do that. He gains the Jataxian Probe back. You know, all these cards he's basically lost by being on 1 life. Now he has access to them again by gaining 15. And the Empty the Warrens would deal 14. The Tendrils deals 14.
Does he have another Tendrils in his deck?
He doesn't have another Tendrils, but he has a little card we like to call Pest in Flames.
Oh.
So I think that's probably his route now. He's planning to try and ritual his way to Burning Wish for Past in
Does he
Flames.
not have? Yeah, but this deck is not a Cabal Ritual deck, so he's definitely.
No.
Yes.
He's going to have to do this what we call the hard
This
way.
is the hard way, yeah.
But he does have Burning Wish already, so if he brainstorms into an LED, like we said, he can just go for it.
Right. The funny thing about this too is you think when you see Passive Flames and you see the Ant deck, it's almost automatic that they have enough mana to go off the next turn because they have that Cabal there. Like Cabal Ritual gets 5 mana for no reason. It's so good. It's like having 8 Dark Rituals in your deck. But yeah, this one he's going to have to go the hard way, hit a Lion's Eye Diamond, or at least draw a couple more Lotus Petals before thinking about going off. Here's Ikrit. Bridge from Below, also in the bin here. So we know we're going to get some goblins out of it.
And here goes the Cephalid Coliseum.
So he's not
The
drawing
dredging
3
will
cards
go.
here. We're going to do some dredging instead.
Yeah, I think he's going to use the Dredge keyword. It's printed on a number of the cards in his deck.
That's boring.
He's got a theme deck, really.
That is a theme deck. This is like an EDH.
You can buy this
thing.
pre-con when Ravnica came out.
Dredge. Would you
Hits an
rather
Archimedes, strong hit.
get a 1/2 flying Death Touch or draw cards?
The judge signaling, can you dredge so that your cards are visible to us out here? Because it helps us to see, I believe. Yeah, he's fanning. We've hit a Cabal Therapy. We have a Dread Return in there. Oh, wow. Dread Returns could be a big game.
Yeah.
Has another Stinkweed Imp. So if he hits another Narcomoeba,
Oh, wow. If he hits
Hits an Icarid.
This is
Hits
a-
another Narcomoeba.
Wow, this is going to be real big. And then
Hits a Grave Troll. Okay,
Hits a
so
Grave
now he just
Troll.
wants to hit a bridge from below.
number
and
2.
Get real rowdy.
Another
oh,
one. There it
there's
is.
the bridge. Wow. What a sick sweat.
Oh,
and a
another
Cabal
therapy. So we're just going to tear his hand apart here.
Yeah, we do know his entire hand. I'm curious if Andrew took the time to write it down, because that would be, a pretty important thing to have done when your opponent ad nauseum
Right.
for the full blowns.
So, man, this looks like a disaster for Jeremy. Like, he's going to have to go off with scraps next turn, and it will have to be next
That's
turn.
assuming he
double
lives.
Bridge. Yeah, well, he's going to live this turn. He doesn't have a Dread Return, I don't think.
He has Dread Return in the
Oh,
bin.
does he have Dread Return?
We got
Oh.
it fanned. He has a Dread Return in the bin.
So how much damage is that Flare going to do after all this, too? How big's that Grave Troll, I wonder?
Yeah, well, he only has the one Dread Return, though, so he doesn't have a way to go Flare into Grave Troll. So he'll have to do a little math to see if he can actually orchestrate the necessary number of zombies.
And this is a situation where the Flamekin Zealot kill is a little bit more consistent, because if he just mills Flamekin Zealot, the game's over here.
That's tons of damage.
Can we go ahead and bring a Flare of the Hatebound up on the screen and get so we can kind of help our viewers along with the math? He's going to Cabal Therapy, sacrificing this Narcomoeba and naming ideally something in Jeremy's hand, and get 2 zombies. Now Flare of the Hatebound, so when he brings it back, it'll deal 4, and he can use a Cabal Therapy to turn it into 5. So the Flare of the Hatebound plus a Cabal Therapy is all by itself 9 damage with the Dread Return.
Yeah.
So he actually only needs 6 more damage. I don't know if he can actually get there though.
All right, so he therapies. I don't think he hits. Oh, he does hit. He hits Infernal too.
The Icarid can give him 3 more damage. He needs a way to generate. He needs 1 more Cabal Therapy, actually. Wow.
Yeah, he does.
If he had
have
1
it.
more therapy or 1 more way to sacrifice a creature. I mean, 1 more than he has.
Oh,
sorry.
okay, gotcha.
He needs 3 total. If he had 3 Cabal Therapies this turn, he would definitely be able to Flare for the kill.
Think about if he had that one Narcomoeba in play too.
Dude, that one Narcomoeba was no joke.
That was
He
no
could have
joke,
cast
yeah,
that
yeah.
Narcomoeba.
Yeah, they have even more zombies there.
But
pretty funny.
it doesn't wind up mattering in this particular game, since the Coliseum is going to be a little bit more relevant.
Right, yeah. All right, so here comes the Dread Return.
Looks like he's going to go for the Cabal Therapy
Okay,
again instead.
so same thing. Because he has 1 more left anyway, so
Yeah.
he's just doing the other order. Definitely a more interesting version of the Dredge deck, and most of them play the Flare now, but I like the Flamekin one better. It would just be dead. Just bring this back, sack this Narcomoeba, sack this Icarid, sack this bunch of zombies, +1/+1, crush you. Take thousands. Alright, so he's going to swing for 3. Put his opponent at 12. So Jeremy's going to have 1 more turn, I think.
Yeah, Jeremy gets 1 more turn. Andrew did not have enough real creatures to sack to Cabal Therapy. Oh, he did? Is that a 3rd therapy? Did he actually have a 3rd therapy? Oh, wow, he could have definitely... I'm pretty sure he could have got this with a 3rd Cabal Therapy. The sequence you should have done was first Cabal Therapy, sacrifice, make 2 zombies. Then you play your Dread Return, sacking your 2 zombies and 1 of your other creatures to get back Flare the Hatebound. You deal 4. That knocks
Flare the
Jeremy down to
Hatebound.
11. Then you attack with Icarid. That knocks him down to 8. Then with the 2nd Cabal Therapy, you sack your Flare the Hatebound. You 5 him.
to
That puts
3.
him to 3. And then with your 3rd Cabal Therapy, you sack Icarid. That gives you 2 zombies for the bridge from below. They trigger the Flare the Hatebound for 4 more. Jeremy winds up at -1.
You're right, yeah.
So if he
Done
had
it.
3 Cabal Therapies, I think he had it.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, good thing Jeremy did the Tendrils route, so he actually has 1 more turn now.
Yeah.
Because if he did the Goblin route, he would have been dead.
Yeah, we would have balled out of control and got pretty good.
Yeah, it would have been like, here
Well,
all
to be
my
fair, you would have balled out of
I would've
control.
balled
I
out
would
of
have been
control.
like way out of control,
Yeah.
brainstorming for the kill.
Yeah, we're in a different, we're in different orbits of the real world. It's
Yeah.
okay. So Jeremy,
Keeping it real, but
on Earth.
might be dead
Yeah.
as a result.
that's true. Jeremy on the planet Earth has it made the plays to survive 1 more turn, and let's see what happens here. So can he win with a Jitaxian Pro?
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Doable.
Yeah.
He'll actually be able to stave off death for 1 more turn if Andrew forgets his Icarid somehow. If he had an Orange Chant, actually, he'd be golden.
He would. The Orange Chant comes back to bite Jeremy.
Orange Chant would shut down Dread returns.
Excuse
Cabal
me,
therapies.
upkeep with kicker.
And yeah,
Getcha.
it would actually be surprisingly effective here. I'm happy for you, Shane. I'm glad that you got to see that.
I always get my fringe things right when it doesn't matter. Like he's way behind anyway.
Oh, we hit a brainstorm. Gosh, we're in for a sweat, ladies and gentlemen.
Did he pay the life?
No, he paid the mana.
I think you pay the life here, right? I think you're gonna need every drop of mana to win this game.
I'm not so sure, honestly. I don't know.
See what happens.
I've never played Storm in Legacy, I gotta be honest, so it's hard for me to make evaluations on those kind of decisions.
Yeah, it's I just see yourself wanting to have every little drop of mana if you hit the brainstorm here, which you did, and hitting relevant spells like his. He gets 3 new spells. It's pretty much Ancestral Recall.
He is indicating an Icarid for some reason. Oh, he's saying. I believe there were missed triggers, perhaps, for the zombies. The Icarid should have generated some zombies on the way out, I think is what we wound up missing. And Jeremy's pointing that out. Hey, yeah, he missed this trigger.
All right, so here's the brainstorm. This is the brainstorm of the century here.
Yeah, brainstorm.
All about this.
He has access to a Grape Shot in his sideboard. He may have put it in his main deck. It may still be in his sideboard. I don't know. That theoretically could be useful to him.
Oh man, the duress just keeps coming back to him.
Yeah.
We'll not go. That was the worst brainstorm ever.
He hit a Chrome Mox, so he can turn that duress into a mana.
Yeah, I think
But-
he's dead.
Yeah, his hand has 0 action, and he's out of cantrips. He basically just has to live. His opponent just has to forget about Icarid being in the graveyard. That's the only way he can win.
And
He can
Andrew-
silence his opponent, hope he forgets Icarid.
And Andrew did make a mistake with the mistrigger on the zombies, so
Yep.
no.
Concedes. All right. Well, what a match. All right.
Definitely close. I mean, Jeremy looked like he had victory in the bag. He ad nauseum with 15 life. That's like tons of cards. I mean, you should be able to
Yeah.
win. I don't think I've ever seen a
15 life and 2 mana is probably 80+% to win, I would guess.
Right.
Like I said, I'm no Legacy Storm master, but those percentages, I see people talking about them on the source, and I'm sure those guys have done their math. And whenever I see someone say, should I cast ad nauseum in this situation? Like, usually 2 mana and life above like 12 is like, yeah,
Yes.
sure, go for it. Like,
run it, yeah.
you're in good shape.
I think maybe the weakness of the TES in this situation compared to Ant is that when you ad nauseum with Ant, I think you have a better post-game ad nauseum because you get to shave off all those duresses, you shave off all those dead cards against Dredge, because they don't have the Burning Wish sideboard.
Yep.
So they have something to bring in, something that definitely better than duress. I mean, I'm harking on that, but how many times did he redraw those duresses?
I honestly think the
Over and
dresses
over and
were
over.
mostly in the deck because he has those Chrome Moxes, so they give him something to still imprint. And when he's on the play, he